And welcome back to Pokemon Team Videos. Today's Pokemon Team video, I'll admit, with all my writing my schedule ahead for the week, I forgot to write down who gave this one, but I think it was Parker Smith. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. Who asked the question, what does an average Stormtroopers team look like? Now, if we look at Star Wars, the story of Star Wars, all that, from the perspective of a game being played, a Pokemon game, Stormtroopers are just grunt-level trainers then, by the standards of the Pokemon world. They are not named trainers. They're just Stormtrooper. Empire Grunt wants to battle or challenge you. That's basically what a Stormtrooper ultimately is. But we can't really do a full team with that because really no Stormtroopers have much of personality beyond, like, say, the trainer. I can't remember the actual designated handle of the Stormtrooper who fought Finn. And to be fair, that's not an average Stormtrooper. He had a riot control baton. He was clearly a different type of Stormtrooper. Or at the very least, he had some training in that weapon, which most Stormtroopers probably don't. Again, some probably do. Then again, because it's a riot control, you'd have guessed that they all get some sort of training in that. Either way, though, it's difficult because your average grunt trainer for an evil team at most will have, usually on average has 1 or 2 Mon. At most might as he hums that M, might have 3. Might have 3. So really, here's the thing. So what I had decided to do was cheat a little bit like I sometimes do when it comes to teams like this. Is I'm going to give you the 3 Pokemon, I think a Stormtrooper grunt, and the strongest of the grunts, no CEOs, no admins, no nothing, the strongest of the grunts would have on their team. And then we'll get into what the team would kind of look like. So the first one up is the Pokemon that I feel like just represents a Stormtrooper overall, in general, the whole 9 yards. And that's Pawlord. Now, I didn't go Bisharp. Bisharps are much more powerful. They are much more ready for battle. They're much more dangerous. A Pawlord is just kind of, as it's stated, a pawn. It is a Pokemon that is still dangerous. Sure, it's got blades on it, but it's expendable in the ideology of Pokemon. It's the pawn. It's the one you sacrifice so the Bisharp, or any other piece on a chessboard, can go in and get the kill. And that's kind of what Stormtroopers are. They're expendable soldiers. Their armor isn't very strong. I mean, their armor allegedly is very capable, but it never comes off that way. At least not in the movies. So I feel like a Pawlord is very apt for that. The next Mon on the team that I felt was very fitting was the fact that Stormtroopers work in groups. They work in squads, platoons, whatever you want to call them. So a Phalanx would make sense, or Phalanx would make sense on this team. They represent soldiers in battle, in a group formation, going into war. That, I think, just makes sense. So a Phalanx would be the next Mon on the team. The final Mon, though, I did want to represent the armor of the Stormtrooper, because it's their defining feature. Now, as I said, the armor apparently is actually very solid armor, but it always just gets... We always see it just be trumped by other individuals, better shots, better weaponry, all that. So I'm like, okay, this one was a bit trickier to figure out. I want maybe a steel type, because that represents armor, but it has to be a steel type that has flimsy armor, easily breakable armor. And I'm like, I don't really have a Pokemon like that. But I'm thinking, like, okay, well, what about this? No, well, maybe I go into rock types instead. So I'm thinking about rock types, and I think on one for a minute. I'm like, well, what besides the armor, is there anything else this could kind of represent for, a Stormtrooper? And I thought on it, and I'm like, well, Meteor is basically, it's a meteor. It's a little meteor Pokemon, so it's a Pokemon that exists normally in the higher atmosphere in space, where Star Wars generally takes place in a good chunk of the time. So... And it's weak armor. Is that the name of its ability? I think it's weak armor. Basically, it takes a certain amount of hits and the armor breaks and you reveal the core. By the by, I went with this image because I couldn't find a solid image of a Meteor with its armor on. So this is the mon I decided to go with. Or the image I decided to go with. And I felt like that's not a bad option either. Now, there are other things I could have gone with, say, say like they're blaster, but there's no blaster Pokemon. There's no, like, gun Pokemon, thank God. Closest you have is maybe Remoraid, which original design was supposed to be more like a gun. But no, I couldn't go with that. So that's your basic grunt team. At most, they're going to have a combination of these three. So their base Pokemon might just be a Pawlord. Maybe some of them might have a Pawlord and a Phalanx. Maybe some of them will have a Pawlord and a Minor. But they're going to have some combination of these. I don't think you're going to see Phalanx and Minior, though. I think you'll just see one of Pawlord and the other, Minior and the other, and then maybe one really high-class grunt has all three. But now you're asking, well, what about the other three? What are you going on about? Well, this is where I essentially cheated like I kind of do now and then. What I did for, like, say, not a true admin Stormtrooper. Well, I guess you could say admin Stormtrooper. Actually, an admin Stormtrooper would have basically be Phasma. Phasma would be considered an admin. Much higher ranked officer in the organization who would be very different with her team. Although she'd still probably have a similar team, but have a couple extras on there that are much more dangerous. For instance, she'd probably have a different fighting type than Phalanx, although she'd probably have Phalanx on her team because she is a skilled hand-to-hand fighter. She'd have an actual steel type on her team because she actually wears legitimate armor. So, yeah, there is that. But what I did was this, is that I, in essence, and I'm missing one here. Hold on. What's going on here? What's going on here? Now, did I not, there was supposed to be another pump. Did I not? No, it's there. Why is it not showing up? I know why it's not showing up. Hold on. It's not showing up because, bloop, it was behind there. So yeah, if you were to meet like a true top-level non-admin grunt Stormtrooper, he'd have multiple on their team. He'd have multiple Pawlords to represent multiple troops, along with his Phalanx, and 2 Miniors to represent, double the armor. That is my best guess for what a standard Stormtroopers team would look like. Remember, Stormtroopers are not, with very rare exceptions, named characters with actual identities, characters, personalities, and story arcs. So it does become very difficult after some time to figure that out. But this is my best assumption on what a team of theirs would look like. Let me know if you feel this is a good representation of what you think their team would look like. Or if you've got a better idea for a team, let me hear it. I'm down for it. After all, this is all just my opinion. My opinion is not the definitive word of the Poke God Arceus. So, who knows? Maybe a different team could definitely work in their favor. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Super Magic, what if, anything to do with the channel, put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.